I first met my dear good friend Lucas Jasmin back in 1979, and it was at the studio Entertainment Galore. There was some musicians that were talking about let's meet there on one Saturday morning, and at the time I only knew I believe it was the drummer. I can't recall his name right now, but when I got to the studio, there was this guy, this tall, slender guy that wore glasses like myself, and we hit off right away. He started playing some notes on the keyboard. I started, playing along with him on the guitar. We just started jamming. And then after about a few minutes, we stopped, and he said, "Hey, let's write a song." And he came up with an idea. He said, "Now add something to this here." So when he played something, I would play something to counter that, what he was playing. And we became friends ever since.
The way I met Lucas was basically, I was doing a talent show. I was winning talent shows, and then finally there was a talent show that showed up. This was a talent show to get a recording contract. When we got there to finally, I won the contract, and it was Lucas that was producing the song. It was called "I Want You Back." So in the process, we started to record, and there was DJ Griot, who was at the time known as BPE or Solomon St. Ville. And then there was Greg Green. He was there. He was involved in a lot of stuff. Teddy, and basically from everything that happened, we just developed this relationship where music was always there.
We had so much in common. Found out he was left-handed, so am I. He wore glasses, so did I. And he loved his mother, and I loved my mother at the time. I had a very sick mother, and she had the privilege of meeting and knowing him. He knew my sister before she passed. They knew him very, very, very well. He was like family. He could come to the house when I wasn't there. My mother would be there. "Come on in, Lucas. What you want to drink? Go in there and help yourself." But that's just how close he was to me and my family.
My uncle was just a beautiful person. I remember at the age of 7, he put me in front of a piano and taught me chords, and like used to be really hard on me, just trying to get me to remember these chords and learn these chords and incorporate feeling. Like I would play the chords, but he's like, "No, I want you to play with certain feeling." Like he made sure that I knew the importance of not just playing the piano, but being one with how I feel and the music.
And just pretty much is having that kind of professionalism intertwined with friendship, that just works really well together. When he says something, you know what it is. You don't have to guess. You don't have to, you don't have to think about whether or not is there something behind it, and that's one of the things that out of the few people that really walked in and out of my been in my life, he's one of the few people I never had to question or second guess.
During the time we were with the ITC band, we had a run from 1980 to 83. That's the duration of time that I was with them. That had to be probably one of the most fun times I can recall in my life, because we would all ride together in this van from the rehearsal that we would have that week to the gig that we would have on the weekends. And we would just have so much fun telling jokes on the way to the gigs, laughing, having fun. And Lucas was we would say Lucas was the square of the group, because Lucas didn't smoke, didn't drink, he didn't do anything, but he was so cool. We used to call him Cool Luke, because of, he was just that type of person. But again, we used to have so much fun. We performed at the youth fair. We had the privilege of doing a couple of out-of-town gigs as well as the local gigs. We did the Goombay Festival, and it was just a very, very, very fun, memorable time when we were just carefree. We didn't have any responsibilities other than just play good music.
He would sit down and really lecture me, tell me I shouldn't be hanging out on the streets too much and be aware of my surroundings and just things that he didn't have to do as an uncle that he always went the extra mile and do. I thank him for that, and along the way I've met so much wonderful people just through him. Shibley, Teddy, to name a few.
I'd have to say that the most memorable time that we had, or something extremely nice, was the fact that when we went to New York and we conquered, it's called, we were the Hush Brothers at the time, and we conquered this club called Sobeys, and there was another one called the Barbat. And I remember the story my brother was telling me, how everybody was upset. Man, these guys are late. They'll never do anything in this town ever again. Forget about New York. Erase it off the map. So now we finally come in. We come in with the shake it and everything, and Lucas comes in toward the end. He's ready to rock. After everything is said and done, the guy comes back and says, anytime these guys want to come to New York, let us know, because we want you to come back and do what we need to do. Because what ended up happening is that they bought off all the liquor. Everything was like done, and everybody was extremely happy.
Okay, now this is one of the first songs that we had the privilege of going in the studio to record. Lucas wrote this song, and I never forget it because me and him had a conversation about the song. He said at the time, music was complicated, so which later on he decided songs doesn't have to be complicated, but it was a very interesting song, and it was called Lady Ambitious. And he laid these chord structures down, and he would write out the charts for each band member. You play this part, you play this part, and you play that part. And this is the structure. I never forget this song. This song was recorded back in 1981. Okay, and I still remember those chords to this very day. I'm just gonna play a few bars of it for you. That was and I was like, when I first heard it, I was like, wait a minute, that was a little bit too advanced, for my playing at the time. I said, Lucas, wait a minute, just give it to me piece by piece, and eventually, I went home and worked out the parts.
Lucas used to bring in a bunch of different artists, working on all types of material. He was producing from scratch while they were writing, while he was producing, come in for the session, he'd come in, start with the kick, his piano, doing it all, and they're writing the verses. By the end of the session, we'd have a song.
He was just an extraordinary musician. I mean that, from the heart. He was just a pure, talented musician. Some of the things that I witnessed with my own eyes and ears, it just blew my mind. In fact, my playing improved tremendously just by having the privilege of working with him, because there were some chords that he would write out on a chart, and once he explained it to me, I said, oh, okay, that's how that works. In addition to that, he was one of the only persons that I knew that could listen to a song, and while he's listening to it, he's writing out the chords, the charts, without even touching the keyboard. And I'm like, Lucas, you sure that's it? Yeah, this is it. Play this here. And I'm like, wow, he has a perfect pitch ear.
The funny thing is with Lucas, he's always on time with everything. He has everything lined up. Military music, if you can look at it that way. And from him, I have to tell you that I learned a lot, I gained a lot, and the support was unbelievable. And I want to just say thank you to Lucas, because without him, I wouldn't have known what I know in music.
Him and I had a real close connection with our mothers. And I remember when sometime when I'm driving, him and I was going to a gig, and he would always say, Teddy, on the way back home, let me stop, get my mother something to eat, or, bring her something back home. And I was like that myself, and that's where we had a real close bond, because we really, really loved our mothers and our families. He didn't mind sharing his knowledge of what he knew. He was a very unselfish guy. I mean, so kind, and I mean, God knows I'm really, truly gonna miss him.
And I really wish I could, talk to him again and just, on the car rides we used to talk about so many different things, going home or, after the church. And I really do miss that kind of person, that level of human being in my life that doesn't cross your path often, and I really do miss him.
And he's such a talent, and it's unfortunate that he had to go, but I'm for he's in a better place. And the thing we always used to say when he was here, in the middle of mixing, you get a little loopy. It's a lot of time in the studio. I look back and go, use the force, Luke. He used to be like, oh.
Oh,
but we're best of the family as friends, and I'm gonna miss him, and I'll be thinking of him too.
And he just taught me that I can create, and I can be a creator of just music, and I can have control of my life and so forth. He was a mentor, an uncle. I love him, I miss him, and I thank him for everything that he's ever done for me. And I love you, Uncle Lucas. I miss you.
I said I cried in the middle of the night when I was making this song. Yeah, then I got down on my knees and thank God that you made it this long. I'm so grateful, Lord.
You were more than just an uncle. You've been there through my strengths and my struggles. Whenever I was weak, you would be my extra muscle. Visionary, always found a missing piece to the puzzle, regardless of the picture. Hardest working musician and father figure. Your life's a blessing, the greatest gift that God can give us. You a legend in your own right. Hearing you play the piano all night, working to the songs tight. Cancer took you early, but you put up a strong fight. Now you in the Lord's light, and it's alright. We love you more than you can imagine. Wave your hands in the air for Lucas Jasmin. I promise I'll.
I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by without you in my heart and on my mind. I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by without you in my heart and on my mind. Go by without you in my heart and on my mind. I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by. I never let a day go by without you in my heart and on my mind. You in my heart and on my mind. You in my heart and on my mind. I said I cried in the middle of the night when I was making this song. Yeah, and then I got down on my knees and thank God that you made it this long. I'm so grateful, Lord.